Thank you very much, Carol. Thank you to all of you here in the forum. Clara, all of you representing older adults, thank you so much for that. I'm going to try to give you a little background and then try to answer these questions if I can in 5 minutes that were pre-submitted to us. I grew up here after being born at the Fort Ord Army Hospital. I went directly to a prune orchard in Evergreen and worked side by side with migrant farm worker kids, the first 10, 12 years of my life. And fast forward, got my education here, of course, went to local schools, ended up at Bellarmine College Prep, and then at the University of California, Davis, received my political science degree, worked in banking for several years, and then came back to work for my family business until I was 45 years old, while I worked my way through law school at night and started my family. So I was elected at 45 to the San Jose City Council. I think some of you know I served as vice mayor there for a couple of years, and I've been on the board of supervisors for 11 and a half years. I'm endorsed in this Senate race. I'm the sole endorsed candidate by the California Democratic Party. I was proud to receive the votes of over 80% of the delegates here in our area to get that nomination and that endorsement by the California Party. California Labor Federation has also extended their sole endorsement to me, and in addition to firefighters and nurses and many labor organizations. We're also supported by some business organizations, particularly on the housing side, the California Building Industry Association and the California Realtors. So I feel like I have a very balanced campaign, which really ties a lot of my experience over the years together. As a county supervisor, I spearheaded the effort to create something called the Senior Agenda in Santa Clara County. That came right after I spearheaded the first Older Adult Summit in Santa Clara County, where we took over the old Hyatt House Mediterranean room one day and had 300 folks in there roll up their sleeves and work on senior issues. And one of the things that came out, besides issues around isolation and behavioral health and mental health, was to make this an age-friendly county, to make sure that as the population of older adults doubles over the next 10 years, that we keep up with that pace, and we also adapt our environment to that and our investments to that. And I think that's where these questions come into play. Universal Long-Term Services and Supports, LTSS, you asked me if I would support that or be supportive of it. Yes, I understand the need for in-home support, for grants to help people deal with issues that they're dealing with, to support them in preparing meals and with chronic issues. Again, I just want to emphasize, with the senior population going from its current 15% of Santa Clara County population, which would be Senate District 15, to about 30% over the next 10 years, it's going to be critical to fight for funding for those kinds of supports and efforts. Second question was on the Affordable Care Act. Yes, I supported it, but I also made sure the Board of Supervisors made it clear during the ACA to President Obama that our first priority was universal health care and a single payer system. And that's still the Board of Supervisors' position to this day. It's my position. I do think we need to cover the other 8% that are uncovered right now by Covered California as quickly as possible. And then, of course, move to a Medicare for all system as soon as we can. I do support Proposition 15, the Schools and Communities First initiative. That's a difference between me and my opponent. I support 15, she does not. And I support SB 50 to try to move forward housing production, including less expensive housing, housing that would include ADUs and rapid expansion of accessory dwelling units, or what we used to call granny units. That all needs to be expedited. And that should be done with a housing finance agency in the state that helps subsidize and assist the development of that housing production. I think that covers most of it. I do want to emphasize that I was very involved with the SCU fire in making sure that senior areas like the Villages community and in the Evergreen Hills were prepared for evacuation. My own home was in an evacuation warning area, and we did everything we could and successfully defended those areas, thanks to CAL FIRE, the heroic firefighters, to make sure that we didn't have to evacuate vulnerable older adults from any of our communities along the Milpitas Hills or the East Foothills, despite those fires. That needs to be our mantra statewide, and we need to have a wildfire management plan that takes into account that not all people can be evacuated equally. And it's very important to be able to protect people in place. I think that's the last minute, so I'll stop there. Thank you. And thank you again for having me.